you to the Ashanti region, where victims of an arson attack at Medoma in the Ashanti region have had to go without food to cater for their medical bills. You'll recall that indeed they were involved in a fire incident, and then the mother is now saying that this is the situation. We'll have more report on this.
The
fire had surrounded my son, who kept calling for help. He mentioned my name 3 times, and that was it.
Mother 3 times.
Those were the last words of 10-year-old twin, Prince Osei, who was burnt to death in the fire. He was buried a week after the incident. Akwesi Ajiman, the fiancé of Patience, allegedly set ablaze his daughter and 2 other maternal siblings after a squabble. Patience spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital. Her legs are bandaged, rendering her unable to walk. She is still in pain, but her major worry is rising cost of hospital bills. The surviving twin daughter is still at the hospital, now anemic as family struggles to foot the bills. Grandmother of the 10-year-old is burdened as she struggles to take care of the family.
Mami Philippines ni pa. Yize nura doctor na wo hwe me no kolo nura obetwetwe mama se me nkoto no. Nye nura ketua. O se no so ne betimi aboa me. Nye nura ketua ti me mfa ni yize kete kura. Me mama yenu na aka no entafo na ba ko film no. Ba ko no de wo no emergency. Anse no mu yi ni ko ward. Ti wono so no.
The surviving twin is still at the hospital. My mother spends about 300 cedis on drugs alone for her every 3 days.
Last week Monday ni ko sie no ti ketwa ba ko na ka menchen de and ejani emframa kakra ne fan ho to no wan sheda.
The last girl is well. She wasn't burnt as the 2 of us. I now sacrifice food for myself to take care of the medical bills.
Menya bi fa nko treat me nan ti me chiri me yam kom kakra bi ku tambia na me de me mani afa dropping na me de akọ wo am ko am nkuta sika o.
Patience regrets listening to advice of people to take back her abusive lover. She recounts the moment before the arson.
Ebufu ni woni muni ni bufu a lo people bit me aye.
Ajiman has a quick temper and is very violent. I stayed with him because I didn't have anywhere to go. He maltreated me until I could get money to rent for myself.
And
after several pleadings, I accepted him and see what has happened to me. My mother warned me against him.
Me mama kaya eneja de besi no ne bi ebesi nti ne bia ne ma bi so timi sisi maso sana ande no ekoye.
Ajiman is currently in police custody after recovering from burns, but the victims are reeling under huge medical bills. For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Rather sad situation there. My colleague Nanaya Ojima joins me live for further details on this particular development. Nanaya, so you have seen firsthand how this woman and the other victims are doing. Exactly how would you say or how would you describe it in your own words?
It's a very worrying situation. When I met this woman, she narrated to me how she struggled before she's able to go to the hospital. From where she lives and the closest access point to a vehicle, and they have to help her walk a distance before she's able to get to a vehicle and board to the hospital. And this is one of her challenges, major challenges, trying to access health care in the area. And according to her, she has to forgo food sometimes to be able to cater for all this expenditure from where she lives now to the Konkwanoche Teaching Hospital. The very affordable transportation has been dropping to this area should cost more than 40 cedis. So for her visiting the hospital every 3 days, it's a challenge. She has to spend more than 80 cedis on transportation alone. The amount she spent in the hospital is yet to be added to the cost. So she's reeling under hospital bills, as the report says, and her daughter is also still in the hospital. Now her mother, the mother of this lady patient, is the one taking care of all the financing. She has now invested everything that she treated with into the healthcare, and now doctors continue to prescribe new medication for them, and the old lady is finding it difficult to buy these medication for her daughter and also the grandchild.
Well, but I'm sure that hospital authorities, for instance, what have they been saying? Because I'm surprised. Since the arrest of this gentleman who allegedly set up the fire and all, have authorities not said anything at all about what kind of help that can be offered to this family?
The hospital have done their best to try limit the charges, but you know, there are some of the costs. The medication cost is not something the hospital can bear. So even though the hospital is trying their best to reduce the cost that these victims will incur, there's still the need for the people to offer some money to get the kind of services they want. So even though the hospital, as I said, is doing their best, there will be some help in terms of finances to help pay for the medication that the patients and also her daughter use in treatment of the illness. From the authorities at the hospital, the little girl will need more support. Now she's anemic, and she will need blood and all those stuff to help her gain back her health. So this is the challenge that the victims will have to back out.
Well, now let's talk about this gentleman in question following his arrest. I'm sure we've been following up on the police in terms of their preliminary findings and all. Has he admitted to actually setting fire or starting this particular fire?
So the last time we spoke to the police, the gentleman had just been discharged, and the police was here to take his to take his side of the story. So police continue investigations. They've been to the house to retrieve leads that will help them in their investigations. Even after the arson incident itself, the fire service who were at the scene to douse the fire brought some evidence to the police to help the police investigate the matter. So the police is on the matter. They've not fully. We are yet to know whether they've taken the pleadings or the side of the story of the suspect. So what I can report now is that the suspect immediately after the incident was also admitted at the hospital. He also sustained some burns. So now he has been discharged, and the police continuous investigation from there.
Now, briefly and finally, Nanaya, let's talk about the loss of this young boy, how the woman and the family are coping with the loss of their son and brother.
Gradually, they are recovering. They are more concerned about those still alive, that the twin sister to the deceased, they believe that even though the young man is lost, this is what they cannot do anything about. Now, they are more concerned about the life of the little girl who is at the hospital at the moment. They buried the boy, Prince, who died on the day through the incident. So they are more concerned about those living who have sustained serious burns.
Okay. Nana Ojima, great reporting there. Thank you so much for joining us on this issue. At least seeing the pictures, you see how serious that situation is. Now they're in need of help. If you're able to do so, we'll be grateful. But I'll take you back to our earlier story where Ghana is expected to take delivery of more AstraZeneca vaccines today as we prepare for the next phase of the immunization exercise. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, has been monitoring this situation. He joins us via Zoom at this point because we've been hearing from Dr. Amponsa Chiano speaking earlier today on the Super Morning Show. But how are cases actually going since we started the vaccination? Is it going down? Is it going up? What really is the situation? Fred Smith joins us via Zoom. Fred, what can you tell us about our current situation when it comes to COVID-19?
Well, as it stands, the Ghana Health Service has been vaccinating the population since the 2nd of March, and that vaccination has been going on as we speak. We are nearing the 500,000 mark, and that should be good news for us. We've currently procured in excess of 800,000 vaccines. You recall that the first doses we got was up to 600,000. We've since taken delivery of more, and that's what we've been administering to date. In terms of the reach, we've expanded it from the 3 regions which started, the Greater Accra, Ashanti, and part of the Central region. It's now covering the rest of the country. But those who are benefiting from this are mainly health workers who are taking the jabs.
But so far, I'm sure with your monitoring, you would say that we are on course in terms of our vaccination exercise at this point?
Yes, indeed, we are on course for this vaccination exercise. I'll give you some figures Dr. Chiano gave this morning. He is saying that so far, in terms of, if you like, adverse events or side effects that we've experienced so far, we've had 1,600 reports. But out of that 1,600 reports, a committee headed by the FDA has been investigating this, and they've realized that 12 of those cases actually are legitimate, and therefore they are looking into them. They've done assessment for some of these 12 and have also come to the conclusion that some of them are just coincidental. Whether they took the vaccines or not, whatever happened to them would have happened. It's only one case which Dr. Chiano confirms that, yes, indeed, is an adverse effect because the person suffered that effect as a result of taking the vaccine. That we do not have any further details on this as we speak.
Okay, that's the head of our health desk, Fred Smith. Thank you very much for joining us via Zoom on our vaccination situation as we expect more vaccines into the country by close of day today, more AstraZeneca vaccines. So no fears if you have to take the second jab, we are getting more of these vaccines into the country. Now, this is the Pulse here on the Joy News channel.